There's this post I saw recently that I can't get out of my head. Does anyone else remember the clown? Does anyone else remember the clown that would show up in the background sometimes? I remember it wouldn't even say anything, it would just be watching Gumball and Darwin, staring and stalking. I found it so scary as a kid to the point where I would have nightmares about him. At first I had no idea what they were talking about and quickly forgot about the post. But then the next day, as I was scrolling TikTok, this came across my feed.
Dude, we were supposed to be doing portraits. Why would you
There's
have
a
scary
man.
clown?
In back of this place. What's going?
Now, I'm not superstitious, but I kind of felt disturbed by the fact that the clown had appeared in my feed twice after I hadn't thought about him in years. So then I kind of fell down a rabbit hole, looking at every instance, every frame, every moment he appears. And what I found genuinely unsettled me. And here's the first thing I found. The clown is real. He is not a fake creepypasta, not a purely fan-made edit, and not a one-off Halloween meme. But the version of him that lives in people's memory is still slightly wrong. Because yes, he exists in canon. Yes, he does stalk the edges of scenes. But it's more complicated than that. Let's start with the basics. Because honestly, even calling him the clown feels generous. He doesn't have a confirmed name in the show. The crew behind Gumball never gave him one on screen. Fans have called him various things. Some just refer to him as the clown. Others have dubbed him the silent clown, or simply the scary clown. He is, visually, exactly what you'd expect a clown to look like. And somehow that makes it worse. White face paint, a wide painted grin, colorful clothing, classic clown silhouette. But here's the thing. Every other background character in Elmore, the town where Gumball takes place, has a personality. They talk, they react, they're part of the world. Even the most minor throwaway character gets a moment. The clown gets nothing. He's just there. And the show knows it, because the way he's framed, the angles, the placement, it feels intentional. Like the animators were trying to make you notice him without ever drawing attention to him directly. So let's go through it. I rewatched hours of this show, cataloging every moment he appears. And once you see him, you genuinely cannot unsee him. The clown's first verified appearance comes in The Procrastinators, released on October 2nd, 2014. He appears outside the window and delivers Nicole's message like some nightmare postman, opening with the unforgettable, "I've got a telegram," before vanishing again.
I've got a telegram for Gumball and Darwin, Watterson.
That scene alone explains why people remember him so vividly. He arrives without warning, speaks in this bizarre deadpan, and looks like he belongs in an entirely different cartoon. And that's the part that sticks with you. Not just how he looks, although that's part of it. The pale, wrinkled face, the fixed expression, the kind of design that feels just slightly too detailed compared to everything else. But the way nobody reacts to him like he's out of place. He's not treated like a threat. He's not treated like a mystery. He's just there. And that's where the confusion starts, because if you only saw that scene, you'd probably just write him off as another weird Gumball joke. The show is full of random, surreal characters. A clown showing up to deliver a message isn't even top 10 weird things that happen in that universe. But then he shows up again, and again. Not often, never enough to feel like a main character, but just enough that you start to notice a pattern. In The Saint, he's not just standing around anymore. He's actively involved in a scene where he's twisting Alan's parents into balloon animals. And the show plays it like a joke, but it doesn't quite land like one. It feels like something is slightly off, like the tone doesn't fully match what's happening on screen. And then the show does something even stranger. It starts treating him like he belongs. He appears in the background of other episodes, in places that aren't meant to be important. He's in traffic, he's part of a song, he's just another citizen of Elmore, casually existing in the same space as everyone else. And instead of that making him less creepy, it somehow makes him worse. Because now, there is no clear reason for him to be there. Because now the question isn't, why is there a creepy clown here? It's, why does nobody else think this is weird? By the time you get to later episodes, especially something like The Ghouls, the show finally gives you something that feels like an explanation. It straight up identifies him as one of Elmore's ghouls. And for a second, that almost resolves everything. Of course he's unsettling. He's literally meant to be. He's part of the supernatural side of the world. But even that doesn't fully work, because calling him a ghoul explains what he is, but not how he behaves. It doesn't explain why he drifts between roles. Sometimes a performer, sometimes a background extra, sometimes just a presence that shows up for a single line and disappears. It doesn't explain why he feels different from every other monster in the show, and more importantly, it doesn't explain the feeling people remember. Because the thing that's stuck with people, the thing in that Reddit post, isn't that he was a ghoul, or a clown, or a side character. It's that he felt like he was watching, like he didn't belong to the scene he was in, even when the show insisted that he did. And that's where it gets interesting, because at some point, the show itself seems to become aware of that. In the Gumball Chronicles, specifically The Curse of Elmore, the episode leans directly into the idea that he's been appearing all over the place, hidden in moments you didn't notice, embedded into scenes like some kind of recurring anomaly. And this is where all the TikToks and Reddit posts likely stem from. All over the episode, you can spot the clown, watching and stalking, never acknowledged or saying anything. And then comes the twist. Because the Curse of Elmore doesn't just imply the clown has been lurking in old clips. It literally reframes him as a hidden presence across Elmore's scariest moments. Samara even says, "He is always watching," before the episode shows clips where the clown is supposedly hidden in view. But the strangest part is that the episode immediately undercuts the horror. After building him up like some supernatural stalker, the ghoul reveals himself as the clown, and then, after Leslie and Alan leave, it turns out the clown was actually Tobias wearing a mask. So for a second, the show gives you exactly what the internet wants. Proof that this creepy background clown has been secretly watching everyone, and then it laughs in your face. Because this is still Gumball. That's the real answer to the mystery. The clown is creepy, yes. He is canon, yes. He's even officially treated as a ghoul in The Ghouls, where the wiki notes that the episode reveals the clown is actually a ghoul, but he's also a joke about creepy background details. A joke about how easy it is to turn a random recurring character into a conspiracy. A joke about the exact kind of rabbit hole I fell into. And honestly, that might make him better. Because the clown isn't scary because he has some massive hidden lore. He's scary because he sits right on the line between intentional and meaningless. He appears in The Procrastinators as a scary clown outside the window, delivers Nicole's message, and then just leaves. Later, he becomes part of Elmore's larger supernatural weirdness, and by The Curse of Elmore, the show basically weaponizes the audience's paranoia about him. That's why people remember him as worse than he actually was. Not because they're lying, because the show wanted that reaction. Ben Bocale, the person who created The Amazing World of Gumball, was asked about the clown in an interview, and instead of giving some deep explanation or hidden lore, he said this: "I want to do something with the clown. What's up with that guy? What is his life like? Everyone cares about him just because of the way he looks." And that is so important, because that's not an answer, that's a question. Even the creator of the show is looking at this character and going, why does this work so well? There's no secret villain arc being hinted at, no confirmed backstory hiding behind the scenes. If anything, that quote tells you the opposite. The clown isn't important because of some deeper narrative we haven't uncovered yet. He's important because of pure instinct, because design matters. Out of every strange character in Elmore, and there are a lot of them, the clown hits something very specific. The proportions are just slightly off. The face is just a little too detailed. The expression doesn't change enough. He doesn't move like the others. He doesn't react like the others. And most importantly, he doesn't feel like he belongs. That's what Bocale is getting at when he says people care about him because of how he looks. It's not just that he's a clown. It's that he's the wrong kind of clown for this world. And your brain picks up on that instantly, even if you don't consciously realize it. Which is why people don't remember what he did. They remember that he was there. And that concludes today's video. This is my first real video essay, so let me know what you thought. And subscribe if you want to see more.